Fatman's back. We're going to show you a few more appetizers, whether you want to have them for the game or whether you want to have them just as appetizers any time of the year. First thing we're going to make is Crab English Muffins. We're going to show you how to make the toppings for these English muffins, and we'll move right along. I've got a stick of butter here. I've got a can of Old English cheddar that we're going to mix in with that. Now the butter should be at room temperature, so it's soft, so it's going to be easy for us to mix and spread. We're going to get all this out of here. We want to make sure we get it all in there. Okay, so we have that. Now I'm going to take, it's about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt and 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic. We're going to add that in. I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of mayonnaise. And then I'm going to mix all that together. While I'm mixing this, I'm going to tell you a story about way back when we had season tickets. All the way back when I used to go with my two brothers, a couple of friends of mine at the time, and we used to have different toasts that we'd use during the game. Now, one of the toasts we had, and now remember, we were Patriot fans, hardy Patriot fans. But there was only one player that played for another team that we ever admired. And we admired him for several reasons. One was he made the AFL and brought them to parity with the NFL so that both leagues could combine, and gave legitimacy to the AFL and to the Patriots and to the rest of the league. That was one reason. The other reason was you never saw him without a beautiful woman in his arm. And that man that we honor, the greatest quarterback that ever lived, Joe Willie Namath. Now we have that pretty much mixed together. We're going to add 6 ounces of crab meat. Get it in there good enough that we can spread it on these muffins. We have 1 6-pack of English muffins, which will give you 8 halves to spread this on. Now, that's 6 English muffins, that's 12 halves. My production staff is laughing at me because I can't do math. Hey, it's the old Julia Childs again. Make no excuses! So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 6 English muffins cut in half. We got our spread. Put it on nice and thick. We're going to do that to all of them. Then we're going to freeze them. We're going to freeze them for about an hour. Then we'll take them back out. We'll show you how we cook them. We'll see you in a little bit. All right, Fatman's back. We've got another appetizer we're making for the game. What we're going to do here is we're going to make some stuffed mushrooms. The ingredients you're going to need for the stuffed mushrooms are mushrooms. You're going to take the stems out. Usually you can just snap those right off and they'll pop right out for you. And we're going to take half of those stems and we're going to dice them finely. And we're going to add those with about 1/4 of an onion, also chopped finely. And we're going to take those over here. We've got a stick of butter that we've melted. And we're going to take 1 garlic clove. Squeeze that into the butter. And then we're going to add that 1/4 of an onion finely diced. And about half of the, little less than half of those mushroom stems also finely chopped up. And we're going to let that saute. You don't want to cook this too high, but you don't want to cook it too low. As a matter of fact, I got to turn it up just a hair because that butter will burn, and we don't want that butter burning. We're just trying to cook the onions and mushrooms just a little bit. I'll take you back over here. We'll show you some of the other ingredients we have. We've got 2 cups. This is Italian breadcrumbs. They're already seasoned. You can buy breadcrumbs plain and add all the seasoning. They've done all the work for us. So we're going to take 2 cups of Italian breadcrumbs and toss it right in there. We also have 6 ounces of crab meat that we're going to add. And we have a little bit of a mix of mozzarella and Parmesan cheese here that we're going to top the mushrooms when we're ready for it. So we're going to go back over and check and see how these onions and mushrooms are doing. Just going to give those just a couple minutes in here to saute. Oh, you can smell that garlic coming out of there. That's beautiful. And these mushrooms are good anytime. You know, you don't have to wait for a game for these. You can make these, they make a nice appetizer with almost any meal you're going to have. They're great around the holidays. Everybody likes the mushrooms. Depending on what you want to do, you can use, instead of crab meat, you can use shrimp in these. You can use sausage. You could use hamburger meat. It all depends on what you want that day for the mushrooms. Now today, as you probably noticed, is crab day. So we're making 3 appetizers and they all have crab in them, so we're staying with that theme and we're using the crab. These are almost done. Actually, they are done. Those onions are translucent. Once you can see through those onions and they have a little clarity in them, then we're good to go. And we're going to take this over. We're going to dump that right in with the Italian breadcrumbs. That's going to be hot, so we're not going to use our hands just yet, but we will. Don't worry, they're washed, they're scrubbed, they're ready to go. I'm going to spread that around a little bit. And we're going to throw that crab in. I'll give it a little more moisture. And now that that's cooled down a little bit, we're going to forego our spatula and mix those up. Now the way you'll be able to tell if you have enough moisture in here, which you should if you follow the measurements I had, but if you wanted to make more or less, is once you've got that mixed, you want to be able to squeeze it and have it hold its form. And all you're going to do from there is take that mix, heap it in that mushroom, hold that mushroom together. There's your stuffed mushroom. We're going to stuff the rest of them, and then once they're all stuffed, we're going to cover them with the cheese, and then we're going to bake them at 350 for about a half hour to 45 minutes until the cheese is melted and the mushrooms are cooked. So we will be back shortly and we'll show you how to make the next crab dish for the day. Alright, now here's the third part of our appetizer for the day for the game. This is as simple as you can possibly get for a delicious tasting hot dip. We have 8 ounces of cream cheese. We have 4 ounces of butter that's going to go in with that. We have 6 ounces of crab that's going in there as well. We have a couple of garlic cloves that we're going to put in the press and squeeze in there. And we're going to pour that right in. We have Old Bay. No, we don't. This is crab from up north. We don't use Old Bay up north on our crab when it goes into a dip. You can keep that down south. Here we have all the ingredients. It's in this oven-safe bowl. After this is heated up at 350 for about 15 minutes, this will all melt Give it a good stir. After about 15 minutes, it'll all mix together. Then you'll bake it again for about another half hour at 350, and we'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. Simple, easy, and delicious. Okay, we're back with our final results. We have our crab dip transferred over to a little container with our crackers for the game, our stuffed mushrooms. And one thing I forgot to mention when I was showing you the stuffed mushrooms is when you use the can, the 6-ounce can of crab meat, do not drain that. Use that moisture to help with that flavor into the crumbs. And then we have our little baked crab muffins, which were cut and quartered. And then we baked them at 400 for about 5 minutes, and then we broiled them until we got the nice color on them. We threw a couple little tomatoes in there just to give it some color, and again, got to make sure we take care of those vegetarians. Outside of that, we grabbed our beer of the week that was on sale, tuck it in our little Piggly Wiggly holder. We're ready to go for the game, and they're all big games.